Hey everyone, welcome to this live stream. And for today, I have a new app to build. So I'm changing things now. And sure, the tech stack is still Next.js, but instead of building a web application that runs in the browser, I have chosen to go ahead and build a desktop application using ElectronJs. So let me just quickly show you what ElectronJS is and what it does. Let's head over to this. Should say JS, yeah. So what Electron lets you do is lets you build cross-platform desktop applications with JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So you'll be able to build desktop apps that work on Linux, that works on Mac OS, that works on Windows, with same code, same shared code, and you can do it with just JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. Right, so that's what Electron is, and so Electron lets you use anything on the front end. You can use Vue, you can use React, you can use Next.js, Gatsby, Svelte, any of the frameworks you want. So I'm using Next.js as obviously I've been building a lot of projects with Next.js. It has been my go-to framework to use. Yeah. So I'm using Next.js. So the idea behind this app, let me introduce you what this app will be able to do. So initially I have plans for it to, so this is essentially an app that lets you that visualizes the package JSON files where all of your packages are listed. So basically this file. So it lets you visualize this, and initially as one of the first features, it will let you update packages right from the application itself. So you don't have to go into the CLI and say yarn update or yarn install a new package version from this, or do upgrade interactive, right? Or you wouldn't have to do that. You'll be able to just select a version from the UI itself. So there'll be a drop down and you'll be able to upgrade to the latest version or whichever version you select. Right. So that was the app is going to let you do, at least for the first versions. Right. So initially I have set to make the app let you update the packages. That's the first thing that I want it to do. Right. So quick go through of the project. So I'm using Electron that lets you define your own UI or view. So in the renderer, that's where your front-end code sits, whatever is shown in your application. So I have the Next.js installed at this location. Rest is just pretty much the Electron's own configurations and everything. So for example, this is where they declare the different configuration for this particular window. So this is essentially a Windows window, right? It has everything that you would normally have in any of the applications on your app, on your system, right? So this is basic configuration that it does for you. So one of the things is I didn't configure this from the scratch. I'm using this pre-built starter pack called Nextron. So I'm using this So I'm using this by Shiono Yoshihide. Right, so I'm using this starter by this guy that gives you that there are a bunch of examples that you can use. So for example, you have option to select a template that has JavaScript with and design with emotion, material, UI, Tailwind. So I'm using this TypeScript with Tailwind CSS. So I had this cloned in my local. Then I went ahead and instead of relying on so this configuration has post CSS way of handling Tailwind CSS. So instead of doing that, I just went ahead and updated it to use emotion along with twin macro. So for any of my projects, I've been mostly using twin macro as my main go-to for integrating Tailwind into your application. So I additionally added twin macro and emotion into it. So this is the basic setup that I have. The repository, if you want to check out, right now is in. So I have just code named it Explode. I didn't find any better name, so I just called it Explode. This is essentially because I'm exploding the package JSON into a UI or something. So I just randomly picked it. But anyway, so that's that. Right now I only have this on this home page. This index page that just says hello world. So one of the first steps I think that I would want it to have, the application to have, would be to actually just to be able to view the package.json's content itself into the UI. So that's the first thing that we'll be doing. We'll be adding into the like reading this content. So since with Next.js, what we have is an capability of defining server API endpoints by saying like I want to create. So what Next.js does is any of the files that you create inside the API folder inside the pages will get converted into its own endpoint. For example, if I create a file called packages, right? So if I do this, and then it's going to be get converted into a API endpoint itself. So I can make a fetch request to /API/packages, right? So I can do that. Let's do that. And then I can do if the request method is get. Right now I can handle the specifically get requests. Function shouldn't have done this, and I can name it handler, and just return JSON and return a status. So this is essentially the same API as you would have in an Express.js backend. So it pretty much follows the same architecture. You have a request object, has similar properties. You have a response object, you have similar properties and functions. Right, so let's just sum an empty error. Right, so we have the function here, right? So what I can do now that we have, let's try to make a request to it. I have Insomnia, so I am using this HTTP client Insomnia on the front end side. Make a request to it. To make a new request, get and just on the packages. Right, so the request goes to http/localhost, and the port is 8888. Oh. And then the API endpoint is /API. There is this folder name, and then /packages. Right, so if I make a request to this, let's see if it works. So we have the response packages that we sent here. So we have the API endpoint at least in there, right? Now, since we want to be able to read this file and read its content and display its content into our own application, we'll have to use the nodes a node package called FS. It stands for file system. So I have worked with FS previously in my previous company, where I had to build a file manager that was that was able to manipulate the local files. So there I use the FS package. Right, so what we can do is, first of all, let's just quickly do something like packages. I mean essentially this, but not this path. So path should be this have to escape, right? Packages, and we can return packages like this. Let's go back to our Insomnia client and run this again. Right, so we what did we do? Oh, we did directly. So since I use this function read directory, it's going to just read return all the content in this. Essentially it's going to return this level, so it will return app, main, renderer, and all of this, which is this essentially, right? But we wanted to read a file, so for that we'll have to use read file sync, and we'll have to say we want it into be a UTF-8 format. right? We don't want it to be buffer, which is the default format that this function returns. So by saying UTF-8, it will return into as it is. So let's try now. What we get? We got internal error. Let's see. Illegal operation on a directory read file sync. Let's try it again. Hey Danish. Let me quickly. Yeah. Now I can say. Like what? Oh, okay. Hey Danish. I don't have it open in Zoom. Right, so we are getting this 500 for some reason. Let's try consoling it. A ladder try catch. This auto completion is because of this GitHub Copilot that does auto completion for you, code completion essentially. So whatever you're trying to write, it's going to analyze your current project file. It's going to analyze the code you have written. And it's going to analyze all the code in the GitHub and suggest you some solutions. Illegal operation on a directory read. Why is it illegal? Let's try this on the front end, and here we can go and let's try this. Packages. It's going to be now. Right, that, and here we can create a iffy. Wait, yeah, we actually want this, but let's do that. But also create an iffy. Like that. I'll convert this into. So actually I have NextJs installed, so I'll be using NextJs instead. NextJs.get, and we can say packages await, and here we can do set packages and packages.data. Let's try rendering it too. Here we can do pre-code, and then we can do JSON.stringify. This GitHub Copilot is pretty cool. It's mostly, let's see. Yeah, we got the same error, I guess. No. Did we get it here? Request failed with status. Illegal operation on a directory read. Let's look for it. Oh, okay, yeah, I got the error. So we're trying to okay, a silly mistake. So we converted this from read sync to read file sync. Now this one is specifically to read a file, and we're passing a path to a folder. So we should say package.json like this, and it should work fine. Right? Yeah, and we should be able to get it here as well. Okay. We should probably parse it because it's stringified. Not stringify, parse. Yeah. So now we are able to read a package JSON. So whichever path is passed. So right now I'm just I pass a hardcoded method. Let's make it dynamic or dry. I can say get packages. I mean, it's not essentially packages, it's just the whole file, but anyway, packages that, and essentially that. Oh, but also let's add a try catch. And it's going to return first all return true, and then data, and I'll follow the same format here. There's an error, and that should be error dot message, right? Okay, right. So I can call that function here, and it's going to give me this. So I can say success and comma data. So if success, we can just do this. I'm not going to handle the error part, we can do that later. So we can just do data now, like that. Yeah, still works, right? Another thing, so this is so I pass the hard-coded URL to that, so that's not something that we'll be doing. Ideally should be a path that gets passed via, like, yeah, it was query. I was thinking params, but yeah, it's query. So it should get passed like this. I'll say empty. So path get there. I can say path, and Axios takes a second config option like this. That takes params. Yeah, so GitHub Copilot is actually doing half of the work for me. Yeah. So I'm able to, let's see if it still works. Yeah, it still works. So it's dry enough that I can have the user pass in a URL to read a package JSON of a different folder, right? But that's for later. Right now I'm just working on displaying this data in a UI or a UI format. Okay, so we have that. Probably should do the same here. Data success true. Pause, and at this point I can do if so it will be data and success, and if success, no, actually data dot success. I can take status from him. So if status is equal to 200, and then I can check if data is success. Then I can do this. That will be data. Yeah. Right. Else I can return this. And it will be if it is false, then that means there is an error. So I can just forward the data.error part. Right. Else also I can do here and say fail to fetch package files content. Let's see if it still works. Yeah. Okay. Now we can come back to the UI part of it. So right now, so ideally I want to be able to show the these fields as well as textual format, right, in the page. But for now I'll be doing these two parts, dependencies and dependencies. So which should be as easy as extracting these two keys. So I know, so package.json has this conventions that there will always be a dependencies. I mean, they could be dev dependencies, but there will always be a dependencies. But dev dependencies is something that's conditional. I mean, you can never have, your app could still work even if there is no dev dependency. But yeah, so let's so at this stage it's, so I'll instead of doing this here, I'll do this here, and then I can just do packages. Wait. Oh, it sent an array. Did it? Oh, yeah. That's a different thing. It should be data. Never mind, let's just do data here. Right. Wait. Cannot set property status of undefined. Where is it coming from? So the get NextJs program that has the status. So it's in the next, it's not in the what did I change? Maybe I should just restart. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, I had to restart. Put this here, bring it back. Right. So we have this. So we can, at this point, instead of doing this, we can say dependencies. it dependency, right? And from this and take out the, so I'm not so right now I'm just going to assume that there will always be dependencies, that we can handle the edge cases later on. So let's set the dependencies are there, right? So now let's, instead of doing that, let's just iterate over it. Yeah, we're going to do this. This is why it's pretty cool. It quite accurately auto completes whatever I want to do. Yeah, li. Okay, we can do dependencies and key. I know I shouldn't pass index, but I don't really have a value there. I'll just pass index as the key. For now, it's for now. Oh, we need the key as well. Yeah. So we have the dependencies. Let's also do dev dependencies. Yeah. I'll just do a cleanup. Wait, does it not take? Oh, okay. Right, so we have this. So we have the dependencies, and then we have the dev dependencies. Add an h2. It says dependencies, and an h2 here that says dev dependent. Right. Let's import tw from here when macro. To tw and b. So I would want it to be the whole thing. So I want so it's going to be by default in dark mode. So let's just do that and quickly pick some dark mode colors. We can probably take I mean, I like this color as well. Pretty cool. Dark mode colors. Palette. This is the next one. In the dark mode gray. Never mind, let's just search images. Oh, I like this one. Let's go with this. So we want the background to be this 15202B. Let's do that. 15202B. Yeah, then the whole let's make every single text by default a white color. We'd also we have that. uh, I'll wrap this into a main, and let's give it an initial padding of E3. That's 12 pixels. Yeah. So this and this can go text LG, right? And let's come to this port and do call it package equals to this, returns essentially this. I'm just exporting that component outside, so I can say package, and it will be package dot name and package dot version like this. Don't need to pass this here. We can do then say package, and the key would be index, I mean for now, and we need to pass package like this, in which the name would be E and the version would be dev dependencies and E, right? We'll have to do the same here, except it's this. Wait. Let's also declare the props for that I. Package will have a name, there will be a string, we'll have a version, there will be a string as well. Right. Oh. It. Oh, the package keyword is reserved. Okay. Let's make it underscore I. That still works. Oh, yeah, of course. So with this, we have the packages. Now we can do the styling from one point instead of doing there. So we extracted a component, each individual package as a component itself. Now, let's first of all, so ideally we should be using table. But let's just work with this. So we'll have let's put this into a span. We'll put everything into the span, but span like this. And in the tailwind we can say first of all it should be flex, of course, and this should be text J. Let's make it 600. It's way too light. This, yeah, 400. Let's do 300. That's great. That seems fine. We can do. So this will have a width. Let's assign it a width. I'll do a custom width of let's give it 240 pixels. and we can make this tw. That's one, like that, so that's fine. The versions should also be that, but I'll make them yellow. Yeah, so right now I'm just going to give it a particular color, but later on there'll be, so the color of each version would be based on this package's current version. So let's say I have a local version that's of 4.3.15, but the TypeScript's latest version is around 8 or 9, or it has changed the major package versions, right? At that point this should be in red, right? So, and in case if there's a minor change, this would be in blue, right? And if it is if it's so this one is minor, this one is major, then this one is backward incompatible. But yeah, so if this one is older, it will be in yellow. If this one is older, it will be in blue. Just say like you could do you don't really have to update, you can, it's fine even if you don't update, right? Now, and if this version is different, if this version is old, it's going to show up in red. So red, yellow, and blue. But right now it's just static number. I'm not fetching any actual package. These were the package's latest version, so I'm just going to keep it with the text itself, right? So with that, we are able to render the packages. Let's get one. Yeah. So we'll also let's just add border gray, and we'll make it 200. Let's make it 400, 500. Let's make it 7, 8. Oh yeah, let's do 7. 7's fine. Rounded. Right, let's do the same with this UL, right? And each of the li will have a padding of px. Let's make it 3 and py of 2. And let's not do that. Let's do h8 and items center. So it does this, and each of these will have, let's add a py of 2. A 1, right? First, that is because if I did our bg 300, for example, so I can have this, I mean ideally it will be around 800 or something like this, right? Now with that, we don't actually need the hover. We have this. We can now do, so we want there should be a borders on each of this. So let's try border B, border A, and did we give it 700? So we have the borders, except we don't want this last one. So let's check out Tailwind's documentation. What do they have for first and last? So they have this first child. They have last child. Okay, so what we can do is on the last child, we can do border zero. Wait, is that not the syntax? Last child. Oh, it's last, not last child. Yeah. Okay, let's bring back the hover just to see. And BG grid, not border. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Let's. What if we remove? Let's try something else. Okay, that's one. There we go. Centered. Yeah, this is much better. Right. So it always stays like this. So that by default creates two column table. Right. So we have the dependencies listed. We have the dev dependencies listed. That's just the first thing. Right. Okay, let's try this. All right. Let's see what we can do. So, as I mentioned earlier, one of the first features to have is to be able to update any of these given packages, any of these packages to a particular version, right? So first of all, I think to be able to achieve that, we'd have to have a list of all the versions. First of all, we'd have to have the list of all the versions that are there currently of theirs, right? That's the first thing. And second thing would be to display a drop down here that has basically the list of all the versions, right? And on selecting any of the version different other than whatever's current, the user will be able to update that package. To reach there, let's first of all see if we can fetch the list of versions for a given package. And to do that, let's see if npm has a cool API for that or not. Okay, they have a package of their own. npm API, creating a file user, file .list. Okay. This is not what I needed, but where is it? Hey Felipe, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, but hey, how are you doing? So a recap for anyone that's watching or just joined in. I am working on building an Electron app, which is a desktop application so that the users can update their package. So this is right now this is JavaScript project specific. So they'll be able to see all of their dependencies and dependencies, and they'll be able to update the individual packages to a different version, or they can update it to the latest. So this is something that I'm working on today. So right now I'm trying to figure out if npm has a API. I mean, of course it would have an API, but I'm just trying to find that. It's a package, not this. Query npm registry via API. Oh, this is a package. Okay. Okay. So let's try this. In Insomnia. So what does it do? So it returns. So if you pass a package name React name, so it's a search string, right? So I passed this and it returns all the packages that has React Native in its name. Okay. So that should be wait, I can do, let's try this. If I send this and then pass a package name, let's do twin macro. So it's going to return what? So it returned the name, its latest package, and the versions. Yeah, it returned all the versions. Not in the sequence. I mean, sequence all messed up. I need a published at value. Let's see. Time top. This modified abbreviated metadata. So only thing I need is just an array of versions sorted in a sequence they were published. So from latest to oldest, and this I don't really need these. So a list of all the versions of this package sorted in a descending order by date. Let's see if anyone created a library of their own. This. Let's see the documentation. Get package info. Let's try this. Okay, we have the name, we have the version. Is it just one? It just returns one version, but we need a list of versions. Let's see. It says package, get various packages info. Yeah, we don't really want to do this, but an API way of doing it. Let's see. I mean, I can do with this because it returns a list of versions, but I'm unable to find a date I published at in this. Yeah, there's no published art or anything. Time. Wait, this is a okay. Guys, it doesn't have it. Repositories, bugs, npm user, dest. Version 1.0, 1.1. Now the versions, if the version was strictly numbers, I could have just sorted it in descending order by number, but it also has sectoral format, so it could have alpha, beta, v1, v2 or something like that, so we cannot sort it by the I mean, it's an object, it's already sorted, but I can rely on this to be sorted because it's strictly numbers. Let's see. 6, 7, so if you'll see this, okay. 1, 10, 7, 11. So they go all the way down to. Is there a way of fetching only numbers, version numbers? Let's see. So let's go back to this. We already have one. Mapping of compliant version to data, full map to data top level. Let's just take it as it is. So we'll just take it as it is and convert all the keys into an array, right? That returns essentially an array of versions. Then we'll just reverse it. Right, that way we'll have the latest version at the top and the old. Just have it in descending order in the dropdown. So let's try to make. So for this, I think since we do not only have just one version, one package, we have a list of packages. For example, this we'll have to iterate over each of those packages and find out the make that same API call, the same API call for each of these, and then fetch their versions. Okay. Okay. So let's packages. The URL for that is just this. So we get the packages here, which I will then pass to convert it in JSON. From that comes the dependencies and dev dependencies. So the format that I'm thinking of is something like this. So of course it'll have dependencies like this, but I'll have it as an array, right? Within each array will be something like this name. It'll say this, and then it'll have a version that will be the current installed version. Then it'll have versions list, version list, right? Which will be an array of from latest to oldest. So 2.0.0, for example, 1.9.9, something like this. So we'll have this. So each of these will be represented by like this. Similarly, we have one for developer dependencies. So let's do this first. So we need to do, so we get the packages, we'll pass them, and from the packages we get dependencies, which will be an object, and we also get dev dependencies, right? Another object. I'm just defining default because the project could have may or may not have dev dependencies. So right, so now for each of these, should just say something. Now for each of the first of all we'll have to iterate over dependencies and then fetch all of the versions of this, right? So let's write this. So I can say a const depths. I'll just say depths await promise dot all, and we'll have object dot keys, and from that object dot keys I can do send in dependencies dot map. We get the key is the name of the package. Then we can use this, right? So this is the URL. I can say const npm API with this, right? And within for each package I'll say name. I'll be doing this essentially. Okay, and that's why I use GitHub Copilot. So we'll be importing Axios from Axios, and we can replace this with this. That way we can get data, and the data we don't have to do this. And from the data, let's, instead of returning, we have to return. But let's see what we get first in this console.log. So data return the tabs. I can do console.log. So instead of trying it in the whole thing, like I don't want to. Let's just try to do this once for a specific package. Let's do twin macro. So get this URL, get the data, the package name, let's put it for now twin.macro. Let's get its data, and if we make the request to http local host, it was 888/API/packages. no such file or directory. What? Oh, I didn't pass the path. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We can do. Let's path that pass that path. So it doesn't give an error. So this is the data that we not that yeah, so this is the data we got. But we just need, oh wait, okay, we have this here. This is what I was looking for, time. So we have time where it sends where was this? Okay, so the time is directly under data. Okay, so this is what we needed. So we can just extract this time part. Let's do that. So data dot time. Let's see if there's anything else. Data dot time. It's just a bunch of other things. Save that and make the request again. We get this list, which is something that we wanted, and let's, so these two we can get rid of, and then we can sort it by this in a piece 8b. Hello, welcome to the stream. Let's, so we so in the data, let's do it like this. We can take out the created. What was it? It was created and modified. And then do versions. So this is something that we need, console.log version. So let's try it again. Yeah, so we have the versions. So I mean, they're by default already sequenced, but so let's sort them by this. The value. It should be values, but let's see. Oh no, that's fine. Or it's, yeah. So will be let's do versions, and then we want to map or sort by, so this is A, this is B, and we want to sort Now we can't just do b1 minus a1. We'd have to have how do you actually compare? I think it's get full time. Then you compare it with that. Compare time. It's I guess using the get time, then comparing it. Yeah, get time. Yeah, so you do get time. But before we do that, we'd have to convert it like this. So let's do b1, and this will be new date like this dot get time, and then we can do similarly here new new date a1 dot get time, and then let's console the versions. Yeah. Let's head over to this, console it. Oh, we ran into an error. Why? Versions dot sort. So this one got closed here, so this is not needed. So we have the 2.7.0 at the latest, and 9. Okay, yeah, that's the one you wanted. Now let's convert. We have the array. Let's do a map here as well. That will do essentially. So you get this with map. You get version and date. Very nice. And then you can do an object instead that says just return version. I mean, we don't really need the time. Just do the version like this. Yeah, that's what we needed. Now that we have a way of parsing the list of versions, so we can do. Now we can come back to this where we were doing this. So let's do this instead and return. We can't just return a version. We can do name, which we already know, which is this. So we have the name, right? We have the versions. We need to get the latest one installed. So with that we can do dependencies name like this, right? Let's try this. So emotion CSS installed is this, and we have versions. Right. So this is why I was doing that sorting by date they were published. It's because of this. They could have any name they want, right? And this could have been like 10.0.0, and then they could have been, for example, A here, and it would have changed the order of it, right? Just so we have the packages, we have the list of versions. That's what we wanted. We can do dev depths as well. Now Now I don't want to call this again and again, so I think let's don't worry about that right now. So we have the dependencies, there are these, then we can get the dev depths, which will be dev dependencies. This, now that we have depths and dev depths, that's fine. So we can pass dependencies as depths. Yeah, that essentially. Right, so let's create a function out of this. Parse versions like this, which I'm going to create a function here, const parse versions, which will return this essentially, and we'll be passing the versions here. Yeah, I don't need that. So we have this. Let's do the same here as well. Right, so we have these two that returns this, which is something that we wanted. Now that we have this, we can update our front end accordingly, which will be so at this point this is still works, this still works, except now this will be an array of objects. This will be an array of objects as well. And right, so now in this point we'll have name. We can essentially, so since it's sending name install versions, we can essentially do this, or is this. So in this point I'll get name installed versions, which will be an array of string. Is that how you write? This, right? And we'll have a select, name will be versions, ID, let's make it underscore package dot name, and then versions. Do the same for this, and inside this we'll have essentially this, and there will be an option, and the value would be version. Let's just we can say the key to be itself, version itself, and then we can have a version here. Let's see if that works. We have to do this. So let's save that and head back to our application. We have an error. Where is it? Oh, closing parentheses. With that, okay. So what we passed was there. It's going to essentially pass this whole object. So name, installed, and versions. Name, installed, versions. Let's try, let's head over to, let's open this again. Oh, okay. Okay. Why does it say version? Oh, yeah, that's why. Why didn't the installed showed up? So the dependency got a name. Why isn't this? These are showing up, but this isn't. Let's push that first. Yeah. So we have the list of versions, right? Okay. Which is fine. And these showing up. Let's console the data part. We can probably do with the things we can add loading states and everything, because this obviously takes a long time to it takes a while, 14 seconds to be exact, to finish up. All right, we'd have to do something about that, which I mean, first thing that we should definitely do is, instead of making the calls again and again, we should probably cache them. That way it'll be much faster than fetching them every time. But anyway, do we have the right data? So this one doesn't have installed version. Wait, what? The dev dependencies doesn't have. Oh, it's no, okay. That's why. So if I refresh it again, and after it takes a long time to fetch, I should be caching them. It's fine for now, but another reason why I should be caching them is so that npm doesn't block my IP for making so many requests in such short time. So yeah, so our versions are working and everything. Let's quickly fix this. So we should be doing this in here. We should definitely have let's make the package names fixed as in w, so that will be block w block, and we want custom width that should be around 220 pixels. I'll just take this whole data. So these are the dependencies, and as for the dev, which I didn't console, let's I'm just gonna hard code this for now. Let's get the now that we have that, let's fix the UI quickly. Let's first of all add border to them all. Right, so it does it like this. We should definitely, so I mean, of course we won't have this. This middle one isn't exactly needed because we'll have it inside this, so this should suffice. I can say w fill. I mean, it shouldn't be w fill, but for the sake of it, I'm just going to be checked out. Okay, yeah. So this one should have a flux string 0. That works. off like that. Let's see if we still need this, which we don't. And what we can do, so this is fine. Let's remove the borders and make the text be black. Text black. Wait, what? Yeah, okay. Let's do the same at this level. Yeah. Let's make it H8 rounded. BG transparent, and then we can send our text. And then instead of that, we can have border way 800. Right, let's make it 6. And the text, let's make it text SM. Right, let's still have rounded width. I mean, yeah, that's fine. And takes up to there are a lot of versions. I'm sure anyone who wants to update their packages from this user interface won't really be doing for these. So what I'm thinking is to just have the version that doesn't have, just only has digits and dot. Right. Okay, let's see. So we can pick, I guess, this one. Yeah, let's pick this. And try doing, let's open. Get data, and then we can, let's look up a regex that does, we can close these, and regex to match digit only. At that. So I mean, also it should definitely be this D, and then we also want to have a dot as well. So if it has only number and dot, then we want to keep it. Otherwise, we will discard that version. Right. So it should be. So another way of doing it would be if it has anything from A to Z. So if it contains letter, we just discard it. So this is the regex. Let's just so this is true. Now if it has data, it becomes false. So we can just do this. Open up this. And here we can just go to the bottom and say console log regex this, and then test, and then data dot map, data dot filter item regex dot test item. So it's so it's basically going to remove any other version that has text into it. Right. Close that. Essentially like doing this filter, no filter item, where item dot versions includes dot version. It's okay, yeah, it's not on this level, it's actually map, but so we need to actually filter this one, right? So we can just do items and here say versions. So this one actually go at this level, right? So it's like this, for example. So in here it's going to like do a filter and here do version, and at this level it's has letters, regex, dot test version. So if it has for example, so let's say version comes in that has a text letters into it. So if it has a letter into it, it's going to, let's remove this. Let's do these again just to see if it's working fine. Let's these, right? So in this parse version itself, it's going to filter it based on version. If the version has a letter reject, if it tests true against this regex, that means it has a letter and want to filter it. So if this is true, it's going to filter function is going to remove it from the version setting. Let's save it and refresh this. Yeah, it's a lot of data. It's unfortunate. So let's try this. So this one doesn't have anything that has text into it. No text. Let's try React. Doesn't have any text. Wait, why is it only 11? If I remember, React also had Oh, it's motion React. Okay, okay. Not React, it's motion React. Why are the dependencies? Okay. So the React only has major versions, ones that has numbers in them, only numbers in them. So this is fine. This works. Let's also, while we're at it. So I think this is something that we can conclude our live stream, today's live stream with. I'll recap it all, what we achieved in today's stream. Let's review our work. So we started with, first of all, we started with creating a handler API endpoint by creating a new file inside the API/packages, right? Now in that we, so right now let's also make this and go back to, right? So we have we are handling a request method of get, and in that what we are doing essentially reading a file, whichever path that we pass here, we're reading that file, with that package.json file, and from that file we are fetching we are extracting the dependencies and the dependencies essentially. So right now I'm only mapping over the dependencies and dependencies. Later on I'll be adding more fields like the name of the package, the version the package is running at, and all of that meta details about the project. Right, but for right now what I did was I looped over each of these packages and requested the list of versions all of them had. So I essentially did that. So I made a call to this API that which npm has, and fetched all the data, all the versions from it, right, of a particular package. And from that I just created a basic object like what the name of the package, which version is currently installed, and what are the versions, right? And this parse version, I'm essentially just from the whole package object, I'm just extracting the versions, and from those I'm sorting it by the time they were published, right? And then filtering it based on if a package version has a name, has the letters in them, I'm just filtering them out. Right, so this is essentially the API side of it, and on the front end, I'm just making a call to that, right? I made a call to that, and that gave me the dependencies and dev dependencies, which I'm just basically looping over it, and I created a separate component for each individual list item, or we can call it package, in which I just say the name of the package and then show the list of render a select drop down to list the number of versions of that particular package, right? So this is for now, for today's streams. Next on, what we'll be doing in the next stream will be we'll explore how the user can click on any of the different version, and they'll be able to install that particular version into their packages. And so that will be essentially updating this packages. For example, we'll be doing a yarn install, for example, twin macro 2.6.2, right? So we'll be doing that, and with that we'll be able to install a new package. So we'll be working with I think shell scripts, bash scripts that will be executing. That way we'll be able to run any command that will let us install the packages. So that way the package version will be updated, right? So that's something that we'll be doing in the next stream. But for this stream, I think we have what essentially we something concrete to move in, right? All right, with this, let's conclude today's live stream. If you have any questions later on, drop them into the discussions in the comment section, of course. And the repository will be is open source, and you can just visit this and go to explode. That's what I'm calling it right now, and we'll be able to explore the code. Let's quickly commit our changes, and then we can be done with the stream. We created this endpoint, right? created this page. I'll just keep the hard-coded URL there as it is, which is fine. Right, let's commit this. Speed, depths listing with versions list. Right, so that's something that we did today, and let's just push it. All right then, I'll see you guys in the next stream. I'll be ending the stream now. Thank you guys for watching.